Well, hey YouTube, so today guys, we're back here with another review, and today we have a review here. This is the Bugio Dash Cam with a 32GB micro SD card, guys. It records at 1080p Full HD. It has a 3-inch IPS screen with a 170-degree wide-angle lens, guys. So yeah, I'm very excited for this review. It's a perfect addition to any car. It's always great to have something like this. Whether you're in an accident yourself or you witness an accident, you never know where you might need footage, to prove your innocence in a certain case, right? It also comes with these cables here. So you have both a cigarette power and you have, looks like it's a micro USB cable. Yes, it's micro USB male there on that side. USB-A on the other side male. So, you have all the standard cables here, but it's great that you can do this without having to be in your car necessarily, or if the car is being used, like the cigarette port, you can use a micro USB option there. So it's always nice to have flexibility. The box itself is fine, it's perfectly fine. On Amazon, it costs about $59.99 with a 40% off coupon, so you're really paying, what, you're paying 30 bucks? About 30 bucks at that point. So a pretty fair price for what you're getting here. There's no price to peace and sanity, right? It's always good to have essentially another layer of insurance. You have a little you have a 3-year warranty, which is nice on this thing. That's always nice, always appreciated here. So, let's go with this review, guys. Let's open this thing up here. This is the camera itself. It looks pretty standard but nice. It certainly gets the job done. You have a couple buttons here, and it's going to correspond with these little, this side. These little icons right here, if you want to know what each one of these buttons do. Then there's more buttons on the other side, guys. You got another 3 buttons, plus the micro SD card slot. And once again, what these ports do, it says right here what each button does here. Then that's the SD card slot right there, if you see it. Perfect, guys. There comes a little bit of plastic on here, so make sure when you're ready to use this, you take that off. I'm going to take it off now, just in case you don't want to forget. And then you have the actual charging port up here. So my mistake, I thought this was micro USB. That's clearly mini USB, so keep that in mind. And then you have a mounting bracket there, which I'm sure in the box it'll probably come with something like that. And then on the bottom here, you have a reset option there. So if you need to do a hard reset, take a little pin, put it in there, and then you have a mic. So that's where the audio is going to come out of. So yeah, really everything you need to put this in your car. Let's see what else comes in the box. So you have the cigarette port right here, and then you have that mini USB on this side here. So possibly, it's possible these cables here maybe don't work for the dash camera. Maybe that was a separate entity that came with it. We'll have to figure that out. But this is the cable in the box is clearly mini USB, which is what this is. So interesting. Let's keep going here. So this is the mount, guys. You can use this to mount this to your car. It's using suction cup technology, so you can decide where that's going to go. And what else do we have here? We have that reset pin I was talking about before. It's pretty much the same thing you use it for a SIM card removal on an older Android device. You have a micro SD card to USB device, guys, an adapter. So that's kind of cool. So when you need to view the files on your computer, it comes with the necessary tools to do that in the box. That is quite nice. Here it is up close, if you're wondering. Okay, perfect. Other than that, guys, you have your generic instruction manuals here, and warranty, and thank you card, all that stuff, guys. Nothing too crazy. The design is fine, and it gets the job done. So that's it there. Let's take a closer look at these cables here. I know on Amazon they were advertising this little cable bundle, so I understand why it came with it. Let's see if it has the right cable. Otherwise, we'll just have to use, the cigarette port one. Let's see here. So what we got here, guys. So very interesting. So, my mistake. This is clearly a mini USB cable right there. It's a male. And there's an adapter here if you're going to use it in a different function. If you're going to plug it into a different type of device, that's a micro USB port right there, if you see that. Yes. So, it's good to have options, guys, but, this is the way I'll probably use it. I do wish there was a pure mini USB port, without the cigarette port on the other side. I think that would be nice, because I don't have to even worry about, getting something to plug a cigarette port into. It just makes my testing here at my desk a little bit more complicated, but I do have mini USB cables, which I can install for this purpose. So that's fine. That's perfectly fine. There's something else in here. Let's see what else we got. Looks like another cable of some sort or some type of device. We have this device here. I don't know what this is or what this is for. I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, it's nice that this kit comes with a lot of different pieces here, you know. So, guys, I think at this point it's time to move on to the actual camera footage. So I'm going to test that footage now. I'm going to find a cable that works with this to make this coherent, you know, one coherent video. Yeah, so let's go do that now. Alrighty, guys, here is the dash cam camera test. So here's a quick look at my setup, guys, if you want to see how it looks from my angle. I've given you views like this before, but this is just another angle. So this gives you about 1080p at 30 FPS. Nothing groundbreaking, guys, and it looks a little, you know, choppy. I will admit that. You know, with dash cameras, you know, they're very hit or miss. Maybe the cable I'm using is not high power. It's hard to say, but there's something to keep in mind, certainly, guys. You know, I will say, you know, there's a nice amount of options. You can do this in 720p, 480p, and that might increase the resolution there, or the FPS, so maybe we'll try doing that. You know, there's a timestamp there at the bottom, which is always nice. The SD card on file gives you about 4.5 hours in total of recording time. So, you know, you take that for what you wish, right? But, you know, it is nice that you can do a pretty long video with this, and you know how these things work, guys. After the 4 hours is over, it's going to start deleting the old stuff, right? So you have about 4 hours of driving time. It should be enough time to identify that you may need footage for some reason, and then from there be able to grab the footage. But yeah, the audio sounds good, the video sounds good. Let's switch to a lower resolution. Let's see if that increases the FPS. Alright guys, we're back here with the 720p footage here. One thing I did find interesting is there's an HDR mode on this thing. I couldn't tell you if this thing is any good at HDR, but you know, we're trying it out now, guys, and you know, this is how it looks. I do love all the different features here. I have to say, I'm very impressed with all the different features. You know, it has a G sensor too, so if there's a lot of G's, it'll make a timestamp of it, of certain events for you. So you know, there's a lot of cool things here, I must say. But yeah, guys. So yeah, that's overall how I feel about the thing. You know, I will say putting in the micro SD card is kind of a pain in the butt. It does fall out a lot. So make sure you really press it in there. You should feel a click when you're doing it. That happened to me a few times where it just didn't work. So other than that, I mean, I'm going to try it back to my other camera here, and we'll finish up the review. But so far, so good. Okay guys, we're back here. I just had a chance to test out the product here. I find the footage to be pretty good. I mean, for, you know, obviously it's on sale, but it was at $1.60, so it's definitely above a budget product. And I do think you're getting a good overall picture. And I think the audio as well is pretty good. You know, this is not going to sound as good as using a $2,000 Sony camera or anything like that, but it certainly is better than the budget one from Temu I have on there, which costs about $20. So I do think the value proposition there is good enough to justify that purchase, the upgrade. So I do recommend buying this overall. Yeah, it is pretty good. Honestly, there's not much negative to say. I mean, I will say, you know, this little suction cup thing, I tested this in my car too, off camera. It's not the best. I do wish this wasn't so cheaply made, this piece here, but it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. And the only other downside I can think of, guys, is like I was saying before, you know, the only thing that comes with it are these cigarette ports, guys. But if I don't want to use a cigarette port with this, which I know is weird, but you know, there's always hypothetical situations, right? And maybe you want to use this for something. Maybe you want to use it for a web camera, which is your prerogative. You want to have the flexibility to use it as a webcam, and then you don't need a cigarette port. Maybe the cigarette port's being used, and your car has a USB-A port, female. So there's always unique situations where, you know, maybe it's good to have some of these other accessories. And I do wish it came with it, but overall, I can forgive it. It's a pretty good product, guys. I'll have the Amazon and the DHgate link down below. Otherwise, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, favorite, put on the notification bell, guys, and please turn off the ad block. Check out my website, pbosonline.com. I have all my reviews there without any ads. I'm also working on news content. Written articles on there too. I have a photo gallery I'm building out there. I have all these different things I'm doing there. I think it's worth a check. I think it's worth your guys' time to check it out. That's just my opinion. You know, obviously do what you want, but I do think it's worth your time. So yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed this review. See you next time. Thank you and bye.